So for those of you who don't know me, I am Nikki Green, the Nikki Green, and I am a life and business resiliency expert. For the last 20 years, I've actually been working in Silicon Valley at some of the top tech firms there. I now live in Chicago. I pleasantly got stuck here during the pandemic, is what I like to say. And like many people, I did my pandemic pivot and I left my corporate career and I began a new career as a motivational speaker, a now 4-time best-selling author, thanks to the great leadership awakening. I host a podcast called Stand Up and Stand Out, and I'm a career coach for young people as they're transitioning into the workforce. One of the other things that I do, which is part of my passion, is on top of being on a couple different boards for nonprofits and schools, I am a volunteer at the Human Library. The Human Library, if you guys aren't aware, is an organization where the people are books and you have live conversations with readers to help facilitate discussions and understanding of people that maybe have different backgrounds, cultures, and life experiences. My book title there is Victim of Bullying. And when many people hear that, they think about bullying, say on the playground, which of course is the origin of my story. But through time, I actually also have evolved that to speak out against bullies in the conference room. And I talk about the fact that we tolerate certain behaviors in adults that we tell our kids are not good. We say kids are not supposed to be bullies at school and to other children. So why do we let professional adults act in this way? This is something that's always plagued me during my career and why I talk about today the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of leaders. So if you guys would like to connect with me, feel free to do so. The QR code is on the screen. If you like text messages, email, you can send me one of those. If you prefer social media, you just want to watch me dance on TikTok, you can do that too. Always are open. There's a bunch of stuff on there, including my podcast. If you don't have your phone right now or you're on your phone for the meeting, you can also go to the NikkiGreen360.com. I'd love to hear from you, hear how you love the book, the chapters, what's your favorite, and also the summit this week. So let's talk about evolving our leadership style. There's the famous story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where this mild-mannered, guy by day, or in my experience, in front of the press or in quarterly earnings meetings, he was the savior, of technological advances that would help the world. But behind closed doors, the beast was revealed. And I'm sure many of you have seen this throughout your careers as well. Some of these stories are in this very book. And while in the original book, it's a serum that transforms Dr. Jekyll into Mr. Hyde, the only serum in today's modern retelling of this tale is the tale of those leaders drinking their own Kool-Aid. They are rock stars in a high-tech world who believe in their own myths and legends of greatness. But what I found is they aren't more intelligent or more gifted than the others around them. But they've been afforded a privileged life that allowed them to get where they are today. And unfortunately, some of this path has given them a moral compass, which doesn't always differentiate between right and wrong. And I'm hoping together through our journey, we begin to change that. So I have modernized this concept, so no longer sort of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but really starting to talk about the zebra versus the chameleon mindset. Here's my little chameleon on my shoulder to remind me daily. So the zebras show this outside world, a picture perfect, Instagram perfect career, life, business, but beneath the surface, their demons are battling. Well, those of us that are chameleon mindset managers, we're inclusive, we're always looking to grow and learn from those around us. The zebras are trying to stand out, but often falsely, for the talents and accomplishments of others. The chameleon manager, they're humble, they're vulnerable, they're showing their strengths along with their weaknesses. But then I also see the zebra manager use that knowledge against others to point out their flaws and draw attention away from their own. The zebra manager takes from others, takes their talent, takes their ideas from their employees, their peers, and even their superiors, thinking that the first to state an idea or the solution, that's the most important thing, not whether the idea is theirs for the taking. I've watched these zebra managers promising things they have no intention of delivering, raises, promotions, and even more in exchange for compliance with this theft. They're showing their true Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde stripes. So I ask each of you to think about your style, both at home and in the office. And are you a zebra or are you a chameleon? So the zebra managers have ushered in this new milestone in our history called the Great Resignation. But for many of us, this has actually been a welcome change. Much has been said about the Great Resignation, theories on why it's happening, why now, and what to do to improve conditions for employees as we return to work. But I like to refer to the Great Resignation as the divorce of our time. Once frowned upon in relationships, and we were told to just stay with the same person regardless of whether that was a good or healthy relationship, soon divorce was encouraged and said, hey, you need to be with the best person that's the right fit for you. And the same thing is happening to our work environments. We are now separating from toxic work environments that are not good for us physically, mentally, or emotionally. We are trying to stop prioritizing productivity over people. And we've begun to reevaluate the things that are important in life and how we want to lead and contribute to society. So the important thing I really see coming out of the pandemic and the last few years of challenge is how important adaptation is. Working in high tech, everything was incredibly fast paced and things were always changing. And so I learned how important it is for us to adapt and also to evolve. So in order to evolve like the chameleon, we need to begin adapting to the new challenges before us using creative adaptability. We have to evolve our thoughts to see the world in a new way. And we have to celebrate each other's success versus always competing against each other. Those zebra managers, they refuse to adapt. You've seen it and you know how it stands. They bully others with their ideas as the only right idea in the room. They stand out, but never being genuine with their true nature. And they isolate themselves as enigmatic. No one could have possibly had the same experience as me, and I am a unique and special person that can't be touched. And all that does is separate them from the pack. But what I've found is, just like in nature, when we're out of tune with our environment and we lack the desire to better ourselves and our community, we quickly become a community of one, because as we know, no two zebras have the same stripes. We need to stop glamorizing this world of nonstop work and productivity culture and standing out just for the sake of standing out. We need to begin finding harmony with those around us and with ourselves. Those that don't adapt like the chameleon are going to be trampled by their herd of zebras or eaten by this lion. We need to begin to celebrate the beautiful rainbow of colors in each chameleon and stop suppressing our true nature, allow our real selves to be known as managers, as leaders, as women, and as humans. I talk a lot about in my books and in my talks about misogyny and the effect it has had on my career. But when I talk about it, I want to clarify that it's not just men dominating over women, and often has very little to do with gender and everything to do with power. Power over others to make them feel inferior and less than. Fighting to show that strong leaders, this is how we act when we do business. It's used way too often in today's leadership, more often than empathy, kindness, inclusion, and understanding. We've often been told that we only have two responses to fear: fight or flight. But that's actually not true. That was in response to a study of all male subjects in 1915. Do you think things might have changed a little bit since then? So when this test was replicated in the year 2000 with a group of women, how do you think the stress response changed? Tend and befriend was the reaction of these women. Tend to those in need. befriend, to create a community, to combat the fear together. It was no longer us versus them. It's now, how do we become stronger together? And I think this is an important thing to continue to educate ourselves, our employees, our family and friends, that there is more than fight and flight to build our community and build up ourselves. I'm incredibly proud that through this book, we are building such a community. These inspiring 24 women are tending to those in need. Each of us needed to share a piece of our story so that others would know our pain, our suffering, but also our triumphs. And now with this wonderful virtual audience and all who read this book, we're reaching out to befriend each of you with our words. And we hope that each of you will learn something from us in our chapters. Please be sure to reach out to those of us, in the book, share with us, help us learn your stories so that we can support you in return. We appreciate your support through buying and reading the book and through attending the conference this week. I'm incredibly blessed to share this experience of writing this book with all of these beautiful chameleons and see their true color shine through. I've interviewed each of them for my podcast, Stand Up and Stand Out, to learn more about their stories as they faced their personal Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hydes and came out stronger and more focused on their purpose. So stay tuned for season 5 and that behind the scenes look. Today, I'm ecstatic to share this virtual stage with them over these 3 days. And if you haven't done so, upgrade to the All Access Pass so you don't miss a moment of these wonderful women's presentations. I'm loving this whole session. There's a lot more to go today, tomorrow, and the next. So please don't hesitate, to continue to connect with us over this time. So through my chapter in The Great Leadership Awakening, I've given you just a small glimpse of the 360-degree view of chameleon mindset. I wish there was more time and more days to continue talking about this and talking about how it can help all of us evolve and adapt to the needs of the future, but we ain't got that kind of time today. But there's a lot more to go, and you'll see that these 5 elements of the chameleon mindset are so well aligned with the other women in this book. And so it's incredibly wonderful to just see again how this harmony is coming together in something unplanned by me, but that we have this frequency of resonance where we're all thinking about the same thing. We're trying to build community in the same way, and we're trying to help and support each other through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, corporate jobs, family life, and everything else in between. So if you guys would like to join a part of our community, we do have a wonderful free LinkedIn group with mentors, members looking forward to support each other and transform how this next generation leads. I invite you to join the Chameleon Mindset Revolution. I am here to help the next generation through these transitions, through their pandemic pivot, their recession pivot, whatever the time is that incorporates your time to move on to the next thing. Most jobs that exist today will not exist 5 years from now. There is going to be an incredible amount of change due to technology, due to the infusion of technology with other lines of business and economies we've never even expected. So it's time for us to adapt and be ready to learn and grow together. We're in the knowledge-based economy, which means there is no shortage. There is no need for us to fight and flight against each other. It is time to tend and befriend and to work together to build our community and learn from each other. Well, if you didn't grab it at the beginning and you'd like to grab it now, here's my QR code once again. If you don't have your phone and you need to go on the browser, it's at thenikkigreen360.com. You guys can follow me on social. I do lots of great free content for people to, again, continue to encourage a positive mindset, teaching folks how to be resilient in difficult times, which I know we continue to be in for many of us. Or like I said, just watch me dance on TikTok. All of it works and helps you cheer up the way you need to. So I really thank you guys all for your time today. I really appreciate buying the book, attending this summit, and taking the time out for yourself, for this self-care, for this self-development. And don't forget to network with the other people at the event. Say hi in a chat, tell them you like their new hairstyle, whatever it is, right? Just tell them that you're there for them and you'd like to learn more, and make sure you're also connecting. The whole point of social networking is to be social. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. We'll open it up to see if there are questions, and I'll stop sharing so you can see more than a little tiny screen of my face. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Sometimes we flip between the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde during our times too. We've all had those stressful times in life where, you're trying to do your best. You're trying to present that happy, mild-mannered face. But, if we take too long and we keep suppressing these true emotions of what we're feeling and what we're dealing with, at some point it is going to kind of come out. So I really encourage people to, get in touch with their emotions. Emotional intelligence is a big part of chameleon mindset. And we're emotional beings. That's actually one of our best evolutionary traits that we have over other beings. So let's stop saying emotion is not a part of business, that it's not okay to cry in baseball or at work, that these are things that are really true as a part of us and show us not only those sad and difficult moments, but can also be the thing that our passion to drive us and to help us better connect with each other. So thank you. Let's see. Oh, just lots of nice stuff in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Hey, Lisa.
Hey,
How you
Nikki,
doing?
can I go off? Can I go off mute and ask you something?
Come on down.
Come on.
You're the next contestant on the mindset is right.
On the mindset. What's interesting is I feel like chameleons get a bad rap, right? Like people say that if you change your stripes, I know that's why you probably picked that zebra, is that you're, molding yourself to become what you're not. And I think this is so refreshing to think about the chameleon being something that is positive and humble and like adaptable and all those things. But I was curious when you picked that animal, did you have what are the thoughts about that? Did you have any thoughts, like worries there?
Yeah, and it's often misunderstood. And actually, as I was building my business, even before I wrote the book, I uncovered a scientific study which said actually nothing could be further than the truth. So a lot of people portray chameleons as if they're sort of like an ostrich, right? You put your head in the sand, you pretend we don't have problems, and you just sort of go with the flow. And that's actually quite false. So when a chameleon is calm and zen and in its natural space, feeling safe, it's green. It's the perfect green to match the leaves and the forest and everything around it. When it's changing color, it's trying to attract something. It's trying to attract food, a mate, shelter, temperature change, or actually detract a predator. And so I use that in an analogy for like law of attraction and how we can best use that change of color in ourselves. It's the, hey, today I need this. Today I'm feeling happy and I could use your support. Today I'm struggling and I need a different level of support. And so this is where I use that chameleon analogy to really talk through the importance of how we're changing and why we're changing, that it's purposeful, it's to get us the things that we need and to signal to our environment so they know what we're feeling and we're not putting up this fake facade that we're just happy all the time. So
awesome. Hey, is Green your real name, by the way?
Green is my real name. It just, things kind of come together from the universe.
Worked out. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, Nikki, I just want to, Lisa, I'm glad you asked that question. And Nikki, I loved hearing your response to it. And it's so funny because I see so many, there are iguanas, but massive, iguanas around my house every single day. But what just struck me about what you shared was signaling that they have needs. And as a female entrepreneur and as someone who's building a business, it's like, signaling that I have needs has been one of the hardest things to do when you are like often conveying strength and building and growing. And so actually you just gave a lot more permission too of like how to signal that to attract what it is that we require to be able to grow and flourish and build the things that we desire to build. So I love that you even use the word needs, because neediness or having needs also gets such a bad rap. And I feel like you're flipping so many things on its head right now when you talk about the chameleon. So thank you.
I learned from my friend Terry how important words matter, and they have meaning. So thank you. No, this has just been a joy. It's been a great project to be a part of, and just happy to continue sharing such a positive message with so many others to inspire them to find their purpose. And like I said, flash your colors to us. Let us know what you need. This is what we're here for. This was a scary experience for all of us, and I'm sure other people want to write, they want to share their stories, but they're afraid to. So hopefully this will encourage them to do just that. Awesome. Anybody else, or probably on to lunch, a break, some next caffeine boost? Awesome. Well, I think we are good to go then, everybody. Thank you guys all. And heads up for the next speaker at the top of the hour, right? Perfect.
Thanks, Nikki.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you guys later.